2 years ago, I made a video on Blender for the absolute beginner basics. If you never opened this program, that video was meant to kinda get you to your first model. However, with Blender updating quite a bit since then, and that video getting a bit lost in the sauce since it's been 2 years, I wanted to make another one for anyone opening this program in 2025. The first thing we need to cover is moving in Blender. It's a bit weird and takes a second to get used to, so I'll break it down very, very easily. On your mouse, your middle scroll wheel will let you zoom out and zoom in. If you click in the middle scroll wheel and drag around, you can go around your object in whatever way you're bringing your mouse. If you hold shift and click the middle scroll wheel, you can pan around your scene. And if you have a number pad, you can click 1 for front orthographic, I hope that's how you say it, 3 for right orthographic, 7 for top, and 9 for bottom. If you don't have a number pad, you can hold Alt on your keyboard and click in your middle mouse wheel and drag in the direction you want it to be. This way, you can snap to these views without having a number pad. That's pretty much all you need to know about moving. It's a little weird at first, but once you get used to it, it's not bad at all. The next most important thing in Blender, especially when you're starting out, is modes. If we click on our object, this cube, and then go up to our modes here, you could see all of these modes. And don't get too overwhelmed, because when you're first starting out, sculpt, vertex, weight, and texture matter about 0%. All you need to know is object and edit mode. In object mode, you're moving your mesh as a whole. So let's say we press G to grab it, it's moving the whole thing. You cannot independently edit any part of it. However, in edit mode, we can choose where we want to drag maybe vertices or lines or faces, and that brings us in to the 3 things we can edit: vertices, lines, and faces. If you click on the vertices selection mode, you can click any vert on your mesh and do anything you want. If we press G to grab, we can move this in. We can kind of go around and just play with these however we want. If we want to grab a line to move it all at once, you could do that. And if we want to grab a face, we could do that too. Let's press Ctrl Z to get back to a basic cube and start talking about how to turn this into something. We're going to stay in edit mode. I am usually on the face selection, and I press A to select everything within this mesh. Now, in Blender, the most daunting thing when you're starting is keybinds. Everything in this program has a keybind and can be used by pressing some sort of hotkey combination on your keyboard. It's super daunting. We are going to get into like 4 or 5 of them that will turn this cube into your first model. So we've already said A to select everything. Up next is S. If you press S on your keyboard, you can scale your object down. Now this doesn't matter if you're selecting everything or selecting one face. It scales whatever your mouse is selecting. Up next, we have E to extrude. Now guys, this one, I wouldn't recommend grabbing everything at once. This works the best on faces in most cases. Of course, you could do it with lines and vertices as well, but if you press E, you can extrude that face or whatever you're selecting beforehand. Let's do that one more time. Now we could press R to rotate, and this goes based off whatever direction you're looking at your mesh. However, you can also lock this down. So if you press R and then Y, for example, you are only rotating on the Y axis. You could do this with all of the keybinds, by the way. So we could do scale in the X axis, for example. Now that we know how to extrude, scale, and select different faces, and rotate, let's get into some of the cooler ones that are really going to start helping you out. Control R adds loop cuts, aka more geometry for you to work with. Let's say we wanted to move this in the middle. Let's just say we want to make it bigger. We could press Control R and we could scroll on our mouse if we want more, but for now, we're just going to click to add that one. Then we could press scale and we have a bigger section in the middle. The last hotkey I really want to talk about today is bevel, because it is a game changer. As you can see here, we have some pretty hard edges, and sure, we could right click and do shade smooth, which isn't really that great. We could right click, do shade smooth auto smooth, which is a little bit better, softening up these edges, but we still have some very hard edges. If we hold Alt and select this line, now we have all of these. We could do Control and B to bevel this. We can also use our scroll wheel to add more segments, making that a very smooth side. Now be careful with bevels, especially what we call micro bevels, like this for example. We could bevel this whole spot to make it softer, but instead of adding geometry, we could just shade smooth auto smooth. And we have no more geometry, but it still looks how we wanted it to look. Alright, so we've been over the basics, edit mode and object mode. We know how to move in Blender, and we know how to make the cube look a little bit different than it looked when we joined into Blender. Now, how do we do more? What's next? Guys, adding in objects to your scene is by far the next step. We should turn this into something. I'm gonna press S to scale it down. And let's see, let's just scale this back down. I should just get rid of this. We don't need it. Delete. If you press Shift and A on your keyboard, it brings up this add menu. 90% of the time, I am in this mesh subsection. We have plane, cube, circle, UV sphere, icosphere, cylinder, cone, torus, a bunch of stuff, okay? Let's say we want to make a tree. We're going to bring in this cylinder right here. And if this is too many vertices for our game, maybe we're working on mobile or we want super low poly, we could click this arrow down here and just scale that down. I'm going to put it at 8. Now that we have this, we could take what we have already learned. So let's go into our edit mode. The shortcut for this would be tab on your keyboard to switch back and forth. But in edit mode, let's scale this down, grab our top face, and drag it up. Press S to scale. Now we have sort of a tree trunk. We could right click and shade smooth auto smooth. We can also up this angle so it actually looks a bit smoother. Let's do Shift A again, and let's add in, let's do a circle, because why not? And we'll make this 12 sides. Now let's tab into edit mode once again, go to our line select mode since we're on a circle, and let's press E to extrude it. As you can see, it's going all over the place, so we're going to press E and Z to lock it to that axis, and then we can press S to scale. We can press Control R to loop cut, S to scale. If we press L, we can grab this whole piece, S to scale, R to rotate, Shift D to duplicate, R to rotate, S to scale, Shift D, S to scale, R to rotate. As you can see, we are quickly making a pine tree. I could take all of these again if I wanted to, Shift D, S to scale, bring them here. Maybe we want to rotate this one along the Z axis, so R and Z, and maybe we want shade smooth auto smooth. Obviously, this is not the best tree ever made, but it does show you that you can very easily take a super small set of keybinds and super limited knowledge in Blender and make something for your game. Hopefully this video made Blender seem a little bit less daunting, and if any of you guys used it to make your first model, join my Discord and post your model and creations. I would be super excited to see them. But that'll wrap it up for today. If you did enjoy and want to see more content like this, please make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Have a great day. Later.